Alright, now we're continuing from practice 2A to practice 2B. This one's going to incorporate a little bit more than last practice, so now you're starting once again standard.ipt with millimeters. Expand your origin, becomes good practice. Make sure in the document settings that you've still got it millimeter in case it's not. Check your application options, make sure you've got some grid lines on for your sketches. As you can see, sketch, grid lines, and I turn on my coordinate system indicator if you want. And remember, as we move through this, if you're having trouble, you can't keep up with the video, always go back, download the chapter practices, or refer to the chapter material if you're having trouble with terminology or locations. So, first thing we're going to do is we expand that origin, we draw a sketch right on top of that, and we start drawing some lines. Now these lines, once again, loosely, we draw what's shown in our practice. So you're just going to sketch this shape. All I'm doing is really just making sure lines are straight and parallel. It's not the right dimensions or anything. Click Automatic Dimension in your constraint bar, select Done, and then we start looking at each of those dimensions and modifying them appropriately. Now notice I'm going in and I'm updating all these dimensions to read as it shows in the practice. So as I move or edit these dimensions, notice how the geometry flexes or changes and updates over time. You'll notice later on as we do this in 3D mode, you can actually see the 3D shape change upon typing in local update, if you remember. So I'm going to extrude that shape. You can always check your Home tab if you want to go back to a basic isometric view. And as I'm extruding this shape, it shows me all the dimensions and all of the corresponding options in the extrude bar, right? Symmetric, asymmetric, flip one side, where the profile is, and then the distance. Once you change that distance, I stuck with 30 millimeters. You can change that later to be something else. Sorry, a little bit of dead space. So I made my extrusion, right click on the extrusion. Hit show dimensions. That's going to show you basically all those things that made your sketch. So you can click on those dimensions and change them accordingly. So for instance, we need to change that extrusion depth from 30 to 40. But notice it doesn't change automatically. We changed our thickness of the vertical leg of the L to 6 instead of the 4.545. Now notice, once I go and hit local update, it automatically updated all those things. And local update is found up there in the top of the toolbar, in the quick access toolbar, where you can click that and it shows the changes to the sketch. Symmetric, asymmetric, so on and so forth. Okay, now, one thing you do want to do each time is you start to make a series of extrusions. It's always good practice to name it each time, because you may find that you have 6 different extrusions and some are brackets, some are threaded inserts or different things. So make sure you save those accordingly or name those accordingly, and then as you finish your file, save it in a Chapter 2 practice folder with your name and the document, the practice or the assignment name following. And always, always, always refer back to the chapter or the practice text if you're having trouble following along. Thank you.